Coming up on this episode of Poker Jesus.
We opt to pop it to isolate the all-in player, making it 13:58 to go. Fuck. The small blind instant shoves. You'll have to ignore the error in the replayer here. We are playing 3-6, but for some reason it's showing $5 as the big blind. 8-handed, it folds to the hijack who limps in. On the button with ace-queen, jack-7 double suited, our hand is certainly strong enough to raise to isolate with position, but there are two loosey-goosey deep stacks in the blinds, and we decide to keep the pot size manageable. Like clockwork, the small blind can't help himself, making it $30 to go. We all call because fuck that guy.
Why? Because fuck him, that's why.
And the flop comes down ace-queen 9 with 2 diamonds and 1 club. The original raiser leads out for $90, and it folds to the hijack, who shoves for $383. We've got top 2 pair, plus some backdoor straight and club possibilities. We opt to pop it to isolate the all-in player, making it 13:58 to go. Fuck. The small blind instant shoves, which can't be good. But we're committed, and we go with it. The original raiser turns over the ace-king 9-8 double suited in hearts and diamonds. The short stack shows up with the ace-10-9-3 suited in diamonds to his 10. That's actually beneficial for our equity. They're both drawing the diamonds, so blocking one another. In addition, there's only 1 9 left in the deck, which would also help them. So 3 ways, we're actually over 52% equity, which is a pretty fantastic spot. But can we hold? Can we fucking hold? The turn is the 8 of spades, giving the short stack a gutshot straight draw. But the clean river falls to the 4 of hearts, and we're going to win this pot of close to $4,000.
I'm forgiven! I'm immortal again! Omnipotent again! My good fortune is your good fortune. I feel like celebrating!
8-handed playing 5-10, and it folds around to the hijack who limps in. Next act holding ace-king, king-jack suited in hearts to our ace. You can certainly raise here, but we're deep stacked facing additional deep stacked opponents, and I opt for pot control and to disguise our hand and limp along. The button calls, but now the short stacked small blind makes it $60 on a stack just north of 500. There's 2 callers behind us, and the problem if we re-raise here is that we're going to turn our hand face up while not being able to re-raise enough to discourage the deeper stack players from calling. We again opt to just call. We keep our opponents who might make weaker flushes in, and keep our hand strength hidden. We go 5 ways to a flop of ace-6-6, and the original raiser leads right out for $300. It folds to us, and if he's got the case aces, good for him. But on this flop with the nut 2 pair and top kicker, we're comfortable against a short stack. However, we just call because the button behind us still has over $2,300 to play. He folds, and the turn is the jack of diamonds. Our opponent, who only has $156 remaining, checks, and we bet out, and he folds. 8-handed playing 5-10, under the gun limps, as does middle position and the cutoff. In the small blind, we look down at ace-king, king-5, suited in clubs to our ace. We're out of position deep stacked against some deeper stacked opponents. We have 3 clubs in our hand, and the 5 weakens our holding, plus we block our opponents from making the second nut flush to pay us off. The hand is certainly playable, but in this spot I limp along and we go 5 ways to a flop of king-jack 3 with 2 spades and 1 heart. This is kind of a shitty spot. We're facing multiple opponents on a board that has straight and flush draws to be concerned about. While we have the current nuts, there are a lot of turn cards that can be problematic. You could opt for pot control here, but if no one has a flush draw, we don't want it to check around and let someone make a straight and not have them concerned that their straight is no good. And so we lead out for the full pot of $50, and under the gun and middle position both call. The turn is safe, following the 7 of diamonds. Once again, we lead for the full pot of $200. Neither of our opponents is in a folding mood, and they both call. The river fucking sucks, following the 4 of spades. It's very unlikely there isn't at least 1 flush out there, so we check with the intention of folding to a bet. When under the gun bets $800 and middle position goes all in, it's time for us to lay it down. Wow, these guys are fucking awful. Under the gun shows ace-ace, 6-5 with 3 diamonds and no spades, having rivered the straight. Why he called on the flop is beyond me, and on the turn he's chasing a gut shot that hits, but he gets punished for it. The middle position player reveals the jack-10, 10-2, suited in diamonds and spades. So he called pot-sized bets on the flop and turn, chasing the 3rd nut flush against multiple opponents. We put this in his notes as he's clearly a calling station which will prove profitable in future hands. Fuck you! Phil Hellmuth made his grand entrance to the 2022 World Series of Poker main event looking like he got his Darth Vader costume from Wish.com, or the shop at Patty's Pop. Poker players in attendance greeted him with a chorus of boos. Professional poker player Matt Glantz managed to pull the $1 million secret mystery bounty at this year's WSOP. Oh, baby! Glantz, with $7.5 million in live earnings, delivered a brutal beat to Justin Lett, winning with pocket tens versus pocket jacks to pocket the cool $1 million bonus. Glantz then tweeted that as a consolation, he gave $5,000 to Justin for the bad beat. Justin's results show he only has $35,000 in cashes, and many feel that Matt didn't go far enough, awarding half of 1% for the bad beat that netted him a cool $1 million payday, while others feel Matt didn't have an obligation to give Justin anything. Professional nap-taker and part-time poker player Daniel Negreanu has a controversial past, including the use of blackface.
Dexter, is there anyone out there on the circuit that has any game?
Maybe one boy may think about Scotchy Nagonuyan.
That's right, bro. You call's gonna be all over, baby.
Now Daniel faces serious charges of racially motivated hate crimes, including verbal and physical assault.
What's your fucking name? Who?
Having a blood alcohol level of 0.23, Daniel begins to accuse all Asians of looking alike.
Asian guy. They're all the same person?
Daniel's longtime friend Josh Aryeh tries to intervene to calm the situation, but popular Asian-Canadian vlogger Greg Goes All In quickly gets wind of Daniel's racist remarks and confronts him.
Racism is happening.
Daniel quickly resorts to violence, assaulting multiple partygoers in a whirlwind attack that left many bruised and battered, and suffering from long-term emotional scars. After knocking down Greg, Daniel turns his sights on a nearby innocent Asian male who is beaten and then slapped and completely humiliated in front of a stunned crowd of onlookers.
You don't think I'm violent, buddy? No. Nobody's safe. This is why women in poker don't get the phone. This is why women in poker don't get the phone. Eat some of that. I hit you, I punched you, fucking smacked you, and you didn't do shit, you little bitch, right? You didn't do shit, you little bitch.
This innocent partygoer was, according to Daniel, quote, skinny like an Asian, and was also subjected to assault by this monster.
Oh!
After assaulting partygoers, Daniel refused to slow down, letting attendees know he was only just getting started.
Right? I'm gonna keep drinking, as you can tell.
Even those in Daniel's inner circle aren't safe from his wrath, as he forces his cameraman to show off a horrible eye injury Daniel inflicted upon him. Never one to admit his mistakes, Daniel again turns to the Asian community to blame for his actions.
I said you're the craziest party here because I know what I'm talking about. It is you. You're the bad influence, okay?
Before Daniel could harm another attendee, a hero emerged in Boston Rob, who confronted the drunken lout and laid him flat. One can only hope that Daniel gets the help he needs to combat this crippling alcohol addiction. Noticeably absent from the event was Daniel's wife, Amanda. One can only wonder what his significant other was up to.
I'll make any adjustment for her.
Did Phil Hellmuth deserve to be booed? Should Matt Glantz have given more than half of 1% to the player responsible for him winning the $1 million bounty? And what can be done to stop the raging monster Daniel Negreanu has become? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. 8-handed in a 5-10 game, it's been straddled under the gun to $20. 4 players call the $20 straddle, and we're next in the small blind holding the janky Jack 8-3 suited in clubs to our 8. Anthony, listen to me. Do not play these shitty jacks out of position. I don't care if it's only $10 more and you're getting 11-1 on a call, young man. You fold the... God damn it. We go 6 ways to a flop of ace-10-9 with 2 clubs. The small blind leads out for the full pot of 120, and we're next to act. We flopped an open-ended straight draw and a really shitty flush draw. Against this many players, we don't really want to be chasing this here. We don't have a full wrap straight draw, we're out of position, and our flush draw is likely no good. Anthony, what the fuck are you doing, bro? You put those chips down. Don't do it. Don't do it. Bad Anthony. God damn it. We go 3 ways to the turn, which falls the 7 of spades. The small blind leads for $220. Anthony, have I ever told you how smart and amazing at the pokers you are? Clearly you, sir, are a god among men, playing on a level they cannot possibly fathom. Having turned the nuts but not having much else going for our hand, we raise to $1,140. Our opponent in the small blind gets his stack in and reveals the ace-king 10-9, having flopped all 3 pair. On the turn when the stacks go in, we're 85% to win.
Never tell me the odds.
And the king of clubs holds up for us on the river, giving us this pot and over $2,500. Remember, kids, play shitty jacks out of position deep stacked. You only have to win one big hand to make it all worthwhile.
I really don't know, guys. I'm not a financial advisor in the least.
Playing some 5-10 8-handed, there are a couple of super deep stack players sitting on $8,000 to $9,000 each, so we opt to buy in for the minimum of $600, and we limp in middle position holding ace-ace 8-4 suited in diamonds to our ace, with the intention to back raise if someone gets squirrely. The cutoff calls the $10, and who saw this coming? The guy on the button with over $8,000 in front of him makes it $55 to go? It folds back around to us, and we stick with the original plan, making it $190 to go. Somehow the guy who limped the cutoff cold calls both raises. Why not? As does the button. We go 3 ways to a flop of Jack 7 Rainbow. Well, this flop unfortunately hits our opponent's rages somewhat. With $585 in the pot and only $400 left in our stack, we're going to be hard-pressed to check fold this flop, and we opt to rip it in. Generally speaking, paired flops are good for aces because it's less likely your opponents will have hit it. Unfortunately, when the cutoff calls are all in, the button repots and the cutoff calls it off, we know at least one of them has us beat. Let's see what pieces of cheese they've chosen to call our raise with this time. Oh, the cutoff reveals the Jack 8 6-5 suited in spades to his jack, and the original raiser on the button has King Jack 7-6 suited in clubs to his king. You fucking cocksucking donkey fucking shit retards both suck at poker to depths that are unimaginable.
Oh, you don't even know what stupid is. It's about to get all stupid up in here.
That they both have hands that block the shit out of each other is even more painful. If we had gotten stacks in pre-flop, I'd have 50% equity against these mouth breathers. But post-flop, we've dropped down below 11% and need a goddamn fucking miracle to save us. Can Poker Jesus punish these sinners, please? Will he reward his faithful? The turn is the Queen of Clubs. The river, the 9 of Hearts. And we find out that no, he won't save us. 8-handed playing 5-10 under the gun limps, and then 3 other players come along as well. In the small blind with 7-5-4-3 suited in hearts to our 5, our hand isn't that great. The gap is at the top of the hand as we are missing the 6, and a 5-high flush draw isn't something we want to hang our hats on. However, with so many players limping, it's possible they're all going middle and high cards, potentially increasing the chances that the flop will favor our low-oriented hand. We limp along, and the big blind checks his option. We go 6 ways to a flop of 9-6-2 with 2 hearts and 1 club. We've flopped an interesting straight draw. We can hit any 3, 4, 5, or 8 to make a straight. And having a weak flush draw to boot, we opt to lead right out with. This flop isn't likely to hit our opponents too hard, except for someone drawing to a higher flush or having a bigger straight draw, although we have blockers to both. If we were deeper stacked, we would want to exercise more pot control here. 2 players call, and we go 3 ways to a turn, which comes the ace of clubs. We keep telling our story. If they're drawing to a higher flush, we don't want them to get there. We bet the full pot of $240, and both our opponents give it up. We're 8-handed at a 5-10 table, and under the gun, a solid player raises it up to $45. There's 1 caller. We're next to act holding ace-queen, queen-2 suited in clubs to our ace. We make the call, and we wind up going 6 ways, and the flop comes out 9-6-2 rainbow. It's checked around. The turn is the 5 of clubs, and it's checked around again. The river falls the queen of diamonds, giving us top set. Anyone with 8-7 or 4-3 will have a straight and we be beat. The small blind leads for 217. And when it folds to us, there doesn't seem to be any value in raising. He's never calling our raise unless he's got the straight. We make the side call, and the replayer isn't showing it, but he flopped a set of sixes that he slow played, and he waited until we outdrew him to bet them. Very special thank you goes out to Santosh Kumar, who was subscriber number 666 to this channel. Also going to send thank yous to Anthony Rafter, 300-pound Canary, and the Three Stooges Mike, Mike H, and Michael Sweeney, who all left comments on my last video. We're going to see you guys in the next episode.
You know, after watching a video like this, sometimes I'll like it, sometimes I'll leave a comment, and sometimes I'll subscribe. Sometimes I'll even do all three.